In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, countless alien civilizations thrived. They shared knowledge, traded goods, and sometimes fought wars. But far from their busy space lanes, on a small blue planet called Earth, humans lived in isolation. They didn't know about the galactic community, and the aliens didn't care much about them. The Galactic Council, a group of the most powerful alien races, kept an eye on Earth from afar. They watched as humans fought each other in endless wars. The aliens saw cities burn, empires fall, and millions die. They shook their heads, or whatever body parts they had, in disappointment. "Look at those primitive creatures," said Zixna, a tall, blue-skinned alien with 4 arms. He was from a race known for their peaceful ways. "They can't stop fighting each other. How sad." His friend, Blorb, a blob-like being with 10 eyes, agreed. "I heard they still use physical weapons. Can you believe it? No mind control, no emotion bombs, not even basic telepathy." The aliens thought humans were bad at war. They saw the chaos, the messy battles, the seemingly pointless conflicts. What they didn't understand was that this chaos was part of what made humans unique. Rumors spread across the galaxy. Some said humans were so weak, a child from the warrior Kraxan race could beat 100 of them. Others claimed humans fought only for shiny metals and black liquid. These stories made aliens laugh at gatherings and feel superior. But not everyone found it funny. Elia 7, an ancient being made of pure energy, warned the council. "Do not underestimate the humans," she said, her voice like soft thunder. "Their ways are different, but there is strength in their chaos." Most ignored her. They were too busy with their own problems. A new threat was rising in the galaxy, an empire of conquerors that no one could stop. As this dangerous empire grew, few thought about the little blue planet and its warring inhabitants. On Earth, life went on as usual. Humans looked up at the stars, dreaming of what might be out there. They didn't know that aliens were watching them. They didn't know that the galaxy was full of life, and they certainly didn't know that everyone out there thought they were bad at war. In their cities, humans built tall buildings and fast cars. In their labs, they made new medicines and powerful computers. And yes, in their armies, they created stronger weapons. They fought their wars, made peace, then fought again. It was messy and often tragic, but it was also how they learned and grew. One day, a young human named Sarah looked up at the night sky. She was a soldier, tough and smart. "I wonder if anyone's out there," she said to her friend, Mike. "And if they are, I wonder what they're like." Mike laughed. "Probably not much different from us. Bet they have their own problems, their own wars." Sarah nodded. "Yeah, but maybe they figured out how to live in peace. Wouldn't that be something?" Little did they know, the aliens who thought themselves so superior were about to face a threat they couldn't handle. And soon, very soon, they would learn just how wrong they were about humans and war. As the stars twinkled above, the galaxy held its breath. A storm was coming, one that would change everything. And at the center of it all, unaware and unprepared, was a little planet called Earth. The aliens who watched from afar had no idea what humans were truly capable of. They saw only what they wanted to see, a primitive, violent species. But humans were so much more. They were creative, adaptable, and incredibly resilient. These were the qualities that would soon shock the galaxy. In the coming days, the Galactic Council would face a choice. As their enemies grew stronger and their defenses crumbled, they would have to decide. Should they ask for help from the very species they had mocked for so long? The stage was set. The players were in position. And the greatest surprise in galactic history was about to unfold. In the dark corners of the galaxy, far from Earth and the watchful eyes of the Galactic Council, a storm was brewing. The Zarkov Empire, a race of tall, reptilian beings with sharp claws and even sharper minds, had grown tired of peace. They wanted more planets, more resources, more power. Zarkov ships, black as the space they traveled through, began appearing at the edges of peaceful systems. At first, it was just one or two, then dozens, then hundreds. Their message was always the same: submit or be destroyed. On the planet Lumina, home to a race of light-based beings, panic spread quickly. The Luminians had not seen war in 1,000 years. They sent a distress call to the Galactic Council. "Help us," the message said. "The Zarkoth are here. We cannot fight them." But help came too late. By the time the Council's peacekeeping force arrived, Lumina was dark. Its people were gone, their light extinguished forever. This pattern repeated across the galaxy. The Zarkoth moved fast, striking hard. Planets fell one after another. The rock people of Granitus, the water dwellers of Aquarius, even the mighty warriors of Krell, all bowed before the Zarkoth or were wiped out. In the Grand Hall of the Galactic Council, fear replaced the usual calm. Representatives from 100 worlds argued and pleaded. "We must fight back," shouted Kex, a furry being from a world of eternal winter. "With what?" replied Xylo, a gaseous entity floating in a containment suit. "Our weapons are no match for theirs." As they argued, a hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed the Zarkoth fleet advancing towards Centauri Prime, one of the most important worlds in the galaxy. The room fell silent. If Centauri Prime fell, nothing could stop the Zarkoth. In this moment of despair, an unlikely voice spoke up. It was Glix, a small, often overlooked member of the council. "What about the humans?" he squeaked. Laughter filled the room. "The humans," someone said. "Those primitive creatures who can't stop fighting themselves." But Glix didn't back down. "Yes, the humans. They're always fighting. Maybe they know something about war that we've forgotten." The laughter died down. The council members looked at each other. Could it be true? Could those backward humans actually help? Elia 7, the ancient energy being who had warned them before, floated forward. "Glix is right," she said. "The humans are our last hope." Meanwhile, on Earth, life went on as usual. In New York, Sarah, the soldier we met earlier, was jogging in Central Park. She didn't know that high above her, hidden from human eyes, a debate raged that would change her life forever. As Sarah ran, she thought about her upcoming deployment. There were rumors of a new conflict brewing. But it was just another war, or so she thought. She had no idea that soon she would be fighting not just for her country, but for the entire human race and the galaxy. In Washington, D.C., world leaders received a strange message. It came through all channels, in all languages, bypassing every security measure. "Greetings, people of Earth," it said. "We are the Galactic Council. We need your help." At first, many thought it was a hoax. But as the evidence piled up, the truth became clear. Humans were not alone in the universe. And now, aliens were asking for their help. Emergency meetings were called. Military leaders gathered. And in space stations and ships across the galaxy, alien eyes turned towards the small blue planet they had ignored for so long. The Zarkoth, confident in their victory, didn't even notice this development. Why would they care about one insignificant world? But they would care. Soon, they would care very much indeed. As the Galactic Council prepared to make official first contact with Earth, the Zarkoth fleet moved ever closer to Centauri Prime. The galaxy held its breath. The stage was set, the players were in position, and humanity was about to step onto a cosmic battlefield, ready to show the galaxy what they were truly capable of. Little did anyone know the chaos and unpredictability that made humans seem like poor warriors to the aliens were about to become their greatest strengths. The galaxy was about to learn a vital lesson. Never underestimate humans, especially in war. The day the aliens landed changed everything. It was a sunny Tuesday morning when massive ships appeared in the skies over every major city on Earth. People stopped in their tracks, mouths open, eyes wide. Cars screeched to a halt. Phones came out, recording the impossible sight. In New York, Sarah was in a meeting with her commanding officer when the alarms went off. They rushed outside to see a ship, sleek and silver, hovering over the Statue of Liberty. "This is not a drill," her CO said, his face pale. "This is first contact." Around the world, similar scenes played out. In Beijing, Moscow, London, and 100 other cities, humans got their first look at alien life. The ship stayed in the air for hours, not moving, not communicating. Then, as the sun began to set, they landed. In each city, a single alien emerged. They were nothing like humans expected. No little green men or giant insects. Instead, they looked like balls of light, shifting and pulsing with different colors. One of these beings floated towards the White House, where the president and her advisors waited nervously. Secret Service agents stood ready, though everyone knew their guns would be useless if the aliens attacked. The alien spoke, its voice somehow in everyone's head at once. "We are the Galactic Council," it said. "We come seeking your help." The president, trying to hide her shock, replied, "Help with what?" "War," the alien said. "A war we are losing." In the days that followed, the aliens explained everything. They told humans about the Zarkov Empire, about the planets that had fallen, about the threat to the entire galaxy. "But why us?" asked the Chinese president during a global video conference. "We're not as advanced as you." The alien representative pulsed blue, which humans would later learn meant embarrassment. "We may have misjudged you," it said. "We thought your constant wars meant you were primitive. Now we think they might mean you're better at fighting than we are." This news spread quickly. Humans were shocked, scared, and more than a little proud. They had caught the attention of advanced aliens because they were good at war. It was hard to believe. But not everyone was happy. In a military base in Texas, General Johnson paced back and forth. "This has to be a trick," he said to his staff. "Why would super-advanced aliens need our help?" Similar doubts were raised around the world. Some people thought it was a hoax. Others believed the aliens were lying, planning to conquer Earth. The aliens, for their part, were also unsure. Yes, they had asked for help, but now that they were actually talking to humans, they had doubts. "They're so small," said one alien observer, watching a group of soldiers train. "And fragile. How can they possibly help against the Zarkov?" Despite these doubts on both sides, preparations began. The aliens shared some of their technology, and humans started adapting their weapons and strategies. Sarah found herself in the middle of it all. She was chosen to be part of the first human team to train with alien tech. As she put on a suit that could deflect energy weapons, she couldn't help but grin. "Still think this is a normal deployment?" she asked her friend Mike, who was suiting up next to her. Mike shook his head, laughing. Normal went out the window when spaceships showed up over New York. As humans and aliens worked together, both sides began to learn more about each other. The aliens were amazed by human creativity and adaptability. Humans were in awe of alien technology and knowledge. But time was running out. Reports came in of more planets falling to the Zarkov. The enemy was getting closer. In a secret bunker deep underground, world leaders met with the alien representatives. It was time to make a decision. Would Earth join the galactic war? As they debated, Sarah and her team trained harder than ever. They knew that soon, they might be fighting not just for their country or their planet, but for the entire galaxy. The stakes had never been higher. The fate of countless worlds hung in the balance, and at the center of it all was humanity, about to show the universe what they were truly capable of. The decision was made. Earth would join the galactic war against the Zarkov. Now came the hard part, getting ready for a fight unlike any humans had ever faced before. All over the world, military bases became centers of frantic activity. Alien technology merged with human weapons in ways no one had imagined. Tanks were fitted with force fields. Jets were modified to fly in space. Soldiers trained with energy rifles that could punch holes through mountains. At a secret facility in the Nevada desert, Sarah and her team were at the forefront of this new era. They worked day and night, pushing themselves to the limit and beyond. One morning, as the sun rose over the dusty landscape, Sarah stood in front of a holographic target range. She held a weapon that looked like a mix between a rifle and a glowing blue crystal. "Remember," said Zixna, the blue four-armed alien instructor, "the weapon responds to your thoughts. Don't just aim with your eyes, aim with your mind." Sarah took a deep breath, focused and fired. A beam of energy shot out, curving around obstacles and hitting the target dead center. She grinned. "Not bad for a primitive human, huh?" she said. Zixna's eyes widened in surprise. That's impossible," he stuttered. "It took our best soldiers months to master that technique." As word of human progress spread, alien observers became more and more impressed. They watched in awe as humans not only learned to use their technology but improved upon it. In a lab in Tokyo, scientists combined alien energy cells with human AI, creating power sources that could run for centuries. In Brazil, engineers adapted alien ship designs, making them more maneuverable and harder to hit. But it wasn't just about technology. Humans brought something else to the table: unpredictability. During a war game simulation, a team of human soldiers faced off against alien veterans. The aliens, confident in their superior tech and experience, expected an easy win. They were wrong. The humans used tactics the aliens had never seen before. They set traps, used decoys, and attacked from unexpected angles. In the end, the human team emerged victorious. General Johnson, who had once been skeptical, now stood watching the results with pride. "That's the thing about humans," he said to the shocked alien observers. "We've been fighting ourselves for so long, we've gotten really good at thinking outside the box." As impressive as these developments were, they also highlighted a growing concern. The aliens began to wonder, if humans were this good at war, what would stop them from turning on their new allies once the Zarkoth were defeated? Elia 7, the ancient energy being, addressed these fears in a meeting of the Galactic Council. "Yes, humans are formidable," she said, "but they are also compassionate. They fight fiercely to protect what they love. We must trust that they will see us as friends worth protecting." Back on Earth, the training continued. Sarah and her team were preparing for their biggest test yet, a joint mission with alien forces to defend a crucial outpost. As she checked her gear, Sarah felt a mix of excitement and fear. This would be her first time leaving Earth, her first real battle against the Zarkoth. "You ready for this?" Mike asked, strapping on his new combat suit. Sarah nodded. "Ready as I'll ever be." "You think the Zarkoth have any idea what's coming for them?" Mike laughed. "Not a clue. They're about to learn why you don't mess with Earth." As they boarded the sleek alien ship that would take them to battle, Sarah took one last look at the blue sky of her home planet. She knew that when she returned, if she returned, everything would be different. Earth was now part of something bigger, something galactic. In space stations and ships across the galaxy, other races watched and waited. They had dismissed humans as primitive, as bad at war. Now, they were pinning their hopes on these same humans to save them all. The Zarkoth, still unaware of Earth's involvement, continued their march across the stars. They thought victory was assured. They had no idea that a species they had never even heard of was about to change everything. The stage was set, the players were ready, and humanity was about to show the galaxy just how good at war they really were. The star system of Proxima Centauri buzzed with activity. A massive Zarkoth fleet hung in space, their black ships like a swarm of angry hornets. They were preparing to attack the last major outpost in this sector. What they didn't know was that they were about to face something they had never encountered before: humans in battle. Sarah sat in the cockpit of her fighter, a sleek craft that combined Earth and alien tech. Her heart raced, but her hands were steady on the controls. Around her, a mix of human and alien ships formed up, ready for the fight of their lives. Remember the plan. General Johnson's voice crackled over the comm. Hit them hard, hit them fast, and don't let them guess what's coming next. The human strategy was unlike anything the galactic forces had tried before. Instead of a head-on assault, they planned to use guerrilla tactics, striking from multiple angles and constantly changing their approach. As the Zarkov ships moved into attack position, Sarah took a deep breath. This was it, the moment of truth. All units, the general's voice rang out, engage. What happened next would be talked about for generations to come. The human-led forces didn't just attack, they exploded into action. Fighters zipped between the massive Zarkov ships, firing with pinpoint accuracy. Larger craft launched surprise attacks from hidden positions behind asteroids. Sarah's fighter dove straight towards a Zarkov battlecruiser. At the last second, she pulled up, skimming the surface of the enemy ship. Her weapons, guided by both her mind and the ship's AI, found weak points the Zarkov didn't even know they had. The Zarkov, caught off guard by these strange new tactics, struggled to respond. Their formations, perfect for traditional space battles, fell apart in the face of the chaotic human assault. On the bridge of the Galactic Council's command ship, alien leaders watched in awe. Incredible, Zixna murmured. They fight like no warriors I've ever seen. Elia 7 pulsed with a mix of colors that indicated both excitement and concern. They fight, she said, like their entire history has prepared them for this moment. Back in the battle, Mike's voice came over Sarah's comm. Sarah, 3 bogeys on your 6. Sarah grinned. Watch this, she said, then threw her ship into a maneuver that should have been impossible. She looped around, coming up behind her pursuers. In seconds, all 3 enemy ships were nothing but debris. The battle raged for hours. The Zarkov, despite their superior numbers, found themselves constantly on the back foot. Human unpredictability, combined with their quick mastery of alien tech, proved to be a devastating combination. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the Zarkov fleet began to retreat. As the last enemy ship jumped to light speed, a cheer went up across the human and allied frequencies. They had done it. They had won their first major battle against the greatest threat the galaxy had ever known. As the adrenaline of battle faded, the true scale of what they had accomplished began to sink in. This wasn't just a victory, it was a turning point in the war. Sarah landed her fighter, her hands shaking slightly as the reality of what she'd just been through hit her. As she climbed out of the cockpit, she saw Mike running towards her. They hugged tightly, both laughing and crying at the same time. We did it, Mike said. We actually did it. Around them, humans and aliens celebrated together. Old barriers of mistrust fell away in the face of their shared victory. General Johnson approached, his face a mix of pride and disbelief. I've been in a lot of battles, he said, but I've never seen anything like that. You've all done Earth proud today. As news of the victory spread, reactions across the galaxy were mixed. Many celebrated this new hope against the Zarkov threat. Others, especially those who had dismissed humans as primitive, were shocked into silence. The Zarkov themselves were furious. For the first time, doubt crept into their minds. Who were these humans, and how had they managed to do what the most advanced races in the galaxy could not? On Earth, as word of the battle reached home, people took to the streets in celebration. Humanity had taken its first steps onto the galactic stage, and they had done so with a bang. But Sarah and those who had been in the battle knew this was just the beginning. The Zarkov would be back, and they would be ready. The real war was only just starting. As she looked out at the stars, Sarah realized that everything had changed. Humanity had proven itself, but at what cost? And what challenges lay ahead in this vast, dangerous universe they were now a part of? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain. The galaxy would never underestimate humans again. Months passed after the first battle, and the war raged across the stars. Humans, once ignored by the galaxy, were now at the forefront of every major operation against the Zarkov. Sarah found herself leading more and more dangerous missions. Her reputation grew with each victory. Aliens who once looked down on humans now spoke her name with respect and even a little fear. On a distant planet called Nebulon 7, Sarah crouched behind a fallen alien structure. Laser fire lit up the purple sky. Next to her, Mike checked his weapon. "Just like old times, huh?" he said with a grin. Sarah nodded. "Yeah, except the old times didn't involve fighting lizard aliens on a planet with 3 suns." Their mission was crucial. Take out the Zarkov's main communication hub on this planet. Without it, a whole sector of the enemy fleet would be in chaos. Sarah took a deep breath and gave the signal. Human soldiers, mixed with alien allies, charged forward. They moved in perfect sync, using tactics that combined the best of Earth's military history with advanced alien tech. The Zarkov, still struggling to adapt to human warfare, fell back. Their neat formations broke apart in the face of the seemingly chaotic human assault. As Sarah led the charge, she saw a massive Zarkov warrior heading straight for her. Time seemed to slow down. She remembered her training, both on Earth and with the aliens. In one smooth motion, she ducked under the Zarkov's swipe, rolled, and came up firing. The Zarkov fell, and Sarah pressed on. Within hours, the communication hub was under their control. As news of their victory spread, it became clear that this was more than just another battle won. This was a turning point. Back on the Galactic Council's main ship, alien leaders gathered to discuss the war's progress. The mood was lighter than it had been in years. Zixna, now a strong supporter of the humans, spoke excitedly. "The Zarkov are retreating in 3 sectors. We haven't seen them on the back foot like this since the war began." Ilya 7 pulsed with cautious optimism. "The humans have changed everything. Their strategies, their adaptability. It's unlike anything we've seen." But not everyone was celebrating. Some alien races watched the humans' progress with growing unease. What would happen if the humans decided they wanted to rule the galaxy after defeating the Zarkov? On Earth, the war had changed everything. Countries that were once enemies now worked together. The whole planet was united in a way it had never been before. In factories and labs around the world, humans worked tirelessly to improve their new alien tech. They didn't just use it, they made it better. Weapons became more powerful, ships became faster, and new inventions appeared almost daily. Stories of human bravery spread across the galaxy. There was the tale of Captain Chen, who flew his damaged ship into a Zarkov battlecruiser, sacrificing himself to save an alien world. Or the story of Dr. Mkomo, who developed a cure for a Zarkov bioweapon in just 3 days, saving millions of lives. These stories inspired hope in their allies and fear in their enemies. The Zarkov, who had once seen the galaxy as easy prey, now looked over their shoulders, wondering where the humans would strike next. But the war was far from over. The Zarkov were being pushed back, but they were still powerful. And they were learning, adapting to human tactics. In a secret base deep in Zarkov territory, their leaders gathered. The Supreme Commander, a massive creature with scars from 100 battles, spoke in a low growl. "These humans have surprised us," he said, "but we are Zarkov. We do not lose. Prepare our ultimate weapon. It's time to show these primates the true meaning of war." As this new threat grew in secret, Sarah and her team prepared for their next mission. They didn't know it yet, but they were about to face their greatest challenge. The tide of war had turned, but the most brutal battles were still to come. The galaxy held its breath, wondering if the humans' incredible run of success could continue, or if the Zarkov would finally find a way to stop them. One thing was certain: win or lose, the galaxy would never be the same again. And at the center of it all were the humans, the species everyone had underestimated, now fighting for the fate of every world among the stars. The final battle for the galaxy began in the skies above Earth. The Zarkov, pushed to desperation, had brought their ultimate weapon to humanity's doorstep, a planet killer capable of destroying entire worlds. Sarah stood on the bridge of Earth's flagship, the HSS Hope. Around her, a fleet of human and alien ships prepared for the fight of their lives. "This is it," she said to Mike, who stood beside her. "Everything we've fought for comes down to this." The Zarkov fleet appeared, their ships darkening the sky. At its center loomed their superweapon, a monstrosity that seemed to swallow light itself. What followed was a battle that would be remembered for millennia. Human ingenuity clashed with Zarkov desperation. Ships danced and died among the stars. On Earth, people watched the sky, knowing their fate hung in the balance. Sarah's voice crackled over the comms, rallying the Allied forces. "Remember who we are. Remember what we fight for. Not just for Earth, but for every world that has suffered under the Zarkov." The human-led fleet fought with everything they had. They used tactics no one had ever seen before, combining strategies from Earth's long history of warfare with the most advanced alien technology. But the Zarkov were formidable. Their superweapon began to power up, its energy readings off the charts. It seemed that all might be lost. In that moment, Sarah made a decision. She ordered the Hope to fly straight at the superweapon. It was a suicide mission, but if they could destroy it, the rest of the fleet might have a chance. As the Hope rocketed towards its target, Sarah thought of Earth, of all the planets she'd seen, of the vast and wonderful galaxy that had opened up to humanity. "It's been one hell of a ride," she said to Mike. He nodded, his eyes determined. "Let's finish this." Just as the superweapon was about to fire, the Hope crashed into it. There was a blinding flash, and then silence. For a moment, everything stood still. Then, cheers erupted across the human and ally frequencies. The superweapon was destroyed, and with it, the Zarkov's last hope of victory. In the hours that followed, the Allied fleet mopped up the remaining Zarkov forces. The great empire that had threatened the galaxy was no more. But the victory came at a great cost. Many brave souls, human and alien alike, had given their lives. And Sarah and Mike, the heroes who had turned the tide of war so many times, were gone. As the dust settled, the galaxy faced a new reality. Humans, once dismissed as primitive, were now seen as saviors. The Galactic Council gathered to discuss the future, and for the first time, Earth had a seat at the table. The President of Earth addressed the Council. "We came to the stars as newcomers, underestimated and doubted. We leave this war as equals, having shown what humanity is capable of. But we haven't forgotten the lessons of our own history. We know the price of war and the value of peace." In the years that followed, a new galactic order emerged. Humans played a key role, not just in military matters, but in diplomacy, science, and culture. Their unique perspective, shaped by millennia of conflict and cooperation on Earth, brought fresh ideas to age-old galactic problems. The aliens, for their part, learned to see humans in a new light. They studied Earth's history, marveling at how a species could be so warlike yet so compassionate, so divided yet so united when it mattered most. On a peaceful world, far from Earth, a statue was erected. It showed Sarah and Mike, standing side by side, looking up at the stars. The plaque read, "To the heroes of Earth, who taught the galaxy the true meaning of courage." And on Earth itself, people looked to the stars with new eyes. They had faced the greatest threat in galactic history and emerged victorious. Now, a universe of possibilities lay before them. As night fell on the planet that had given birth to this remarkable species, a child looked up at the sky and asked, "What's out there?" Her mother smiled. "Everything," she said. "And now, we're a part of it all." The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson. Never underestimate humans. In war, in peace, in the vastness of space, humanity had found its place among the stars.